Tell me what will your legacy be? Yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me what will your legacy be?
Week 2 of the Rhode Island League in the books, and 3 undefeated teams remain. We're going to break them all down for you here on the Postgame show. I'm Joey, say my name weird, Tyler Ellis, and Henry Concalves from the Bucket Chasers. First win.
Yes.
We're going to start with that game. You guys beat the Wild Hogs 60-54. We'll let you start, so we have a whole bunch of questions for you. First, we'll talk about tonight.
Yeah.
What went well tonight that maybe you guys weren't able to do last week?
Getting accustomed to the rim play. Definitely defense and offense communication. That we definitely lack. We still could do more better, and building up our chemistry. Most of the guys are just getting up together as a first time in the season, so just communication, chemistry.
As you saw last week, chemistry a big deal, right?
Yes,
that team
indeed.
you played knows each other pretty well.
Yes, indeed. We had to shake off some rest on that game.
Yeah, speaking of Lob City, and they're good,
Agreed.
even if they didn't know each other.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
all right, cool. So now, from the league, 2 games in, what's your favorite part about it so far?
Refs, the gameplay, it's fun, because
That's how you suck up. I like
No.
it. I like it.
yeah, refs, the gameplay, keep it fun.
Yeah.
At the same time,
And then give me an outlook for your team. So now you guys are 1-1, right in the middle of the pack. Do you know who you have next week? I mean, you play every team eventually, but I don't know who you
Boom
have. next week.
Shakalakas.
All right, so another good team,
Good
a
luck.
finalist from last year. We're going to talk about Nate Stitchell in a second. He had 40. So give me some outlook for them and the future as the season goes on.
Based on going against them,
Sure.
we're just gonna match up, communicate more often. I know they got a few ballers on that court. As long as we match up, keep the chemistry. Create offense from defense. We should be fine.
Cool. And give me a sleeper player that no one's talking about on your team.
Julio, he's a slasher. He could heat up throughout the game.
Sure.
So keep him on the bench. So he could heat up. Jose, just getting adjusted to the rim as one of our big men, and him just getting adjusted to the rim based on the gameplay. But throughout the season, we're definitely gonna pick up some gameplay.
Nice. Congrats on the first win. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Appreciate
it. And we're going to break down the rest of these games for you. Get out of here.
My pleasure.
All right, Ellis, shift down a little bit. Sweet.
He's got a pretty good highlight coming up.
I know,
Dunk on
I know.
HD over there in the corner.
We got his dunk. Looks pretty good. So, guys, I think you touched on the Bucket Chasers enough. Let's talk about that Boom Shakalaka team, who they play next, if he knows the schedule. That's to be determined. Nate Stitchell goes for 40. Shake and Bake goes for 45 by themselves. You guys weren't there. When Nate Stitchell gets rolling, it's one of those
When
things.
Nate gets hot, he can completely take over a game like he did, almost outscoring the other team. And even when he's not hot, they still have Lucas Martin. They still have Matt Camara. They still have Trevor D'Amico. So it's great to have Nate put up 40 in a game because that team can almost be unbeatable. I can't really say unbeatable because there are a few really good teams in this league, but when Nate gets hot, that team is extremely fun to watch.
Yeah, he had a really good performance last week against the Swish Kebabs. Didn't really, I don't think, do everything he could. I know he was just playing his part in the rotation, so obviously he probably got some more minutes. That's why he dropped some more buckets. So that'll be a great matchup next week.
And I think the Swiss Kebabs are a stronger team than Shake and Bake.
Thank you for the transition. I would love to take it. First, Wild Hogs are missing some players. Joey Coro, big deal, as they lose to the Bucket Chasers. Boom Shakalaka missing some players. Ryan Ronsley. And I'm blanking on the rest. They only had 6 guys. They have more guys than that on their team. And so when they have a full team, it's a different story for a lot of teams. But Boom's able to win when they're short man. Thanks for the transition. Let's get to it. Let's get it out of the way. Swish Kebabs win in overtime, 83-77. Halfway
didn't mean
Crooks
to bring
failed
that
to
up.
score. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, no. I mean, who do you work for? All right, so overtime game, first one of the season. Swish Kebabs come away with the win. I split free throws, would have put us up 4 with 10 seconds to go. That's a big deal. Usually you win games when you're up 4 and like that. My bad. They bang a 3. Credit to them. Get to overtime. They out-execute us. What'd you see from the Swish Kebabs as they are one of those undefeated teams?
Well, you can't beat yourself up over the missed free throw
Yes, I
because
can.
they are an unbelievable team. They still had to come down and make the shot and then make their free throws in overtime, which they even struggled doing. But what I saw from the Switch Kebabs is they didn't quit. You guys both came out at each other. I think it was 29-26 after the first quarter. Very high-scoring game, almost at 50s in the half. And they just kept it going for a little bit longer. They just had a little bit more energy than the halfway Crooks, and they were able to put it together at the end in overtime. And
It's really tough when you only have one sub. So both teams only have one sub. But despite only have one extra player, both teams were a little fatigued. But yeah, in the first half, both teams shot over 50%, which is pretty impressive. I think that Tyler Barbosa did a great job being the team facilitator. Lincoln did a great job for the halfway Crooks. Yeah, you guys got a little 10-point lead there at the end. They came back, but it was really just a back and forth battle the whole time. It was so much fun to watch.
I talked about it. There was that margin. We were up in the third. They were doing what we usually do. Get tired, the legs wear down, settle for jumpers that aren't going to go in because you don't have the legs. And I was like, they're doing what we do. Let's capitalize. We miss a couple layups in the fourth. They start hitting some shots. They get that second win. And the rest we just recap. So Swish Kebabs, again, another hot start to the season. They really faded at the end of the year, so I think we have to keep an eye on them as the season wears on. They were 4-0 last year. They started 4-0.
4-4, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Very close to 4-4, if not 5-3. So they were in that 4-5 matchup. I know that for sure. Let's get to the game of the week, the largest margin.
The game of the week was
Boom might have something to say about that, but one of the larger margins of the week. Lob City does take down the Werewolves in the game of the week. Both were 1-0 coming in. Lob City, again, 2-0. Michael Palumbo, I mean, is going to be one of those players we talk about a lot. Cody Crawford hitting threes. Darius is back, and he has one name because he's a giant man.
Greg 3 rebounds away from another triple-double.
And I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing it on purpose.
What did you guys see from Lob City this week?
From Lob City this week, the same thing I've been seeing from them for last year, from this year. Darius was dominant. Cody could shoot. Cody was shooting a lot better, making shots with people on him, without people on him. Greg was moving the ball. And Palumbo was just a scorer. He could score inside, outside. They just looked like a very well-oiled team. And then 44, I forgot his name. I think it's Kyle.
Yeah,
something.
Van Fetchman,
yeah,
I believe.
he was doing very well. He looked like a very solid player. Nothing really spectacular. Good at everything. Not spectacular. Yes, very solid player.
Darius definitely really stepped up today, but I'll tell you, every time Crawford shoots the ball, I think it's going in.
Yeah.
Was he the guy last year that set the record for the
14 threes in
Oh
the
my gosh.
semifinals.
I think he's going to do it every game now. It's amazing. Got a great shot.
And that's one of those teams, if you call them a franchise or an organization, that group has been together. They've lost one game in now 2+ seasons, and that was to the Swish Kebabs, I believe, last year during the regular season. They avenged that very easily in the semifinals, winning. That was the game Cody went off. You talked about, and now here they are again, 2-0. The showdown with Boom is coming.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
So that'll be fun.
The rematch.
And then obviously the playoffs, hopefully get another crazy final. We're getting very far ahead of ourselves. Week 2 in the books. We'll be back for week 3. We'll be here every Tuesday. So get ready for that. Have some big-time matchups next week as things start to shake out. So for the guys, I'm Joey. We'll see you next Tuesday here at the Johnston Rec Center.